bro, because like I said, I applaud you, and I know what you've been through, and I understand that because I went through the same thing, and I was in an environment with people that were actually innocent and did 30 and 35 years and grew up in the prison system. And like there was like a voice in the wilderness. But talk about, give our audience a view of how when you finally got the news that the criminal injustice system had to reckon with their setting you up and had to let you go. Can you give our audience what it felt like to be able to say that finally, I'm out of here and I don't have to worry about dealing with this insanity no more and can go on to do greater things?
I just want to back up quickly. I'm an anti-capitalist as well, right?
Yes, sir.
And I say that because the capitalist system, as we are taught, is a competitive system. It's supposedly designed to keep people at their best. You always got to be at your best. But one thing that's never said about competitive systems is that cheating is a element that you can't get out of it. And one thing I always ask people is that anything that you know is competitive, people cheat. Cars, football, dice. There's nothing that we know of in life where people compete. It could be charades. Somebody got to talk and open their mouth, right? And somebody going to tell them, stop cheating. Well, the criminal justice system is also a system like that. It's a competitive system. It's about wins and loses. And because it's predicated upon competitive values, cheating is an integral part of it. And this is the reason why I'm anti-capitalist. It's one thing to create a system where someone cheats. It's different to create a system where cheating is an element of it. And when we're talking about cheating, we're talking about food, clothes, healthcare. Some of the most essential things in life are based upon that competition. I don't want a system where I can't get cheating out of it. It's one thing I like to say for people to cheat, but I don't want a system where this is a fundamental element of the system. Having said that, when there were all sort of fingerprints, DNA evidence that was just completely hidden and never given to us. When these things were first discovered, I was asked would I like to be tested to the courts, right? It was tasked to the Michigan State Police because the Detroit crime lab, or where I'm from, had been closed down because of just flat out lying. There's no other way to say it. There's no other way to say it. They were just lying about their findings, right? So the Michigan State Police was tasked with testing the evidence the scientific evidence that they found. It took a year. I couldn't understand why, after being incarcerated 26 years, it would take so long for something to be tested. When it came back, the Michigan State Police conclusions were that it could possibly be mine. My mind is blue. I'm telling my attorneys who had my case 7 years pro bono that I haven't been lying to you. This evidence is not that something has to be wrong. Either they're lying or they're incorrect. Just so happened the Cooley Law School had been given a grant. And because they were given a grant, they matched funds with my lawyers who had been taking this case pro bono. And we had the benefit of one of the leading experts in the country to retest the evidence. And the courts took his word over the Michigan State Police. I just want to add these things. It was a real struggle because it's about wins and loses. They're still trying to win, right? They're still trying to hold on to a win, right? So the cheating comes out because winning is the key thing in a competitive system. So having said that, to be honest with you, when I was finally released, there were men and women who I had met throughout my prison system, some free, some who had been formerly incarcerated, who came to visit me that first day out. When everybody was gone and I was finally by myself, I stretched across the bed like this and I smiled. And there's a movie that came out in the 80s called The Last Dragon. The star was Bruce Leroy. There was a moment in there he kind of realized his power and he began to glow. That's how I felt. I felt like pure electricity was running through my body. I tell people for almost my entire prison system, for 14 to 18 hours each day, I was on a typewriter, I was in a book. I always believed that I was going to write myself out of prison, meaning that I was going to somehow acquire some help from the outside world. I felt so elated that all of that effort, as you said, navigating through prison. This is an environment, once again, where everything is limited. And when we talk about that competitiveness, everything is limited purposely, and there's a struggle in there for the most basic necessities of life.
That's right.
Simple things. And to have navigated through, just all the things I had to do to have to line up. Like I say, never get in a fight. Never really having to interact in that, right? I just felt elated. I just can't. Like I said, I felt like pure electricity was running through my body. But on the flip side, I felt lost. When I came out, there were a few things to remind me of the world that I knew, even people, because most of the men and women that I knew at age, when I left, we were all children. These were people who had, in their adult lives, fathers, mothers, grandparents, they had careers.